All right, here we go.
Roman Reigns, the guy with the biggest pecs. Roman Reigns, the guy who has lots of sex. Roman Reigns, the guy with the wettest hair. Roman Reigns, the guy who just doesn't care. Roman Reigns, the guy with a lot of class. Roman Reigns, the guy who will kick your ass.
All right, so welcome.
Who the fuck is that?
For the perfect time. This is called it's a Roman Reigns parody theme by a guy named Mike Leent, and his last name is spelled Lient, like lie with an NT at the end.
That's hilarious.
And I've been waiting for the perfect moment to play that for us, and I think we found it. Welcome to the
Oh, absolutely.
Brought to you as always by TagMeAndDate.com. I'm your host, Vince Barrett from Northeast Wrestling. I hope everybody's having a lovely day. Buy the shirt, as the NWO used to say. Buy the shirt. But this is wonderful. I mean, not wonderful for... I shouldn't say that. This is going to be good internet radio. It's not wonderful. That's not... that's rude to Roman Reigns. But it's a story. We got to talk about it.
And how about the fact that it finally drops on a fucking Tuesday? Because usually this shit happens on a Wednesday, and we're like, fuck, we got a whole week.
Right. So
this shit drops 2 hours before the podcast. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
So listen, again, if anybody's watching, Alpha Jr. is on my friends list. You never know if he's going to click on this shit. We're not happy because Roman Reigns got suspended. We are happy because a story broke on a Tuesday instead of a Wednesday, and that never happens.
Yeah.
So we gotta do it. We gotta talk about it because it's significant.
We have to talk about it. It's all over the internet. Everybody in the world that has any kind of smart technology has heard that Roman Reigns has officially been suspended for his first violation for 30 days. And, of course, it's of the wellness policy. My question, which nobody seems to really know the answer to, is what was it that caused him to fail the wellness policy?
It's all speculation so far.
Right. You know, it's like my wife sends me a text because, of course, she heard the news. And she goes, I guess Roman's taking it pretty hard that he lost the title.
I was trying to read online. They said the earliest that this test could have happened was Saturday, according to the wellness policy, reporting policy.
But here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
If they did it on Saturday and they knew that this was going to happen, why wouldn't they have written him off TV? Instead, they go ahead and set up this triple threat for the pay-per-view, which, now granted, he's back just in time for it, so he technically could still be in the match. But so he fails the wellness policy. You suspend him for 30 days, and then you
reward him with a title match. Yeah.
So I don't think they took it prior to today, I guess.
Right. Well, what happened was they say because I guess the rationale is that people were looking at the wellness policy online because it's public, and you have to report the failure of a test within 72 hours or whatever, or 48 hours. It's something like that. They have a certain amount of days in which they have to announce the suspension. So they're not saying it had to happen on Saturday. They're just saying it happened between Saturday and today.
Okay.
There was another weird thing. Saturday, the betting lines, which you can bet on wrestling in England, and if this spreadsheet is any indication, everybody in the top half should be betting on this shit in England. You can get an overseas bank account or an overseas credit card and start gambling if you want. But you can bet on scripted wrestling in the UK. It's insanity. So the betting line flipped from Roman being a heavy, heavy favorite overnight to Seth Rollins being a heavy, heavy favorite. And the odds then shifted accordingly for Dean Ambrose in terms of the Money in the Bank thing. Again, this seems like a coincidence, or it seems like it could be related, but it very well could be a coincidence. It's very possible they booked this title change to happen beforehand because think about it. You've got a guy with the Money in the Bank briefcase, and then you've got a brand split. theoretically, if there are two champions, what's he going to do? He has a shot. He has twice a week. He has a shot at a different world title. It made sense to cash it in before the brand split. It made sense that Dean Ambrose got it. And it's just the whole thing made sense if their plan was to do a triple threat match, which seemed to be the way they were going.
Well, I mean, I think we all pretty much thought the same way, that this was ultimately going to culminate in a Shield triple threat match for the title.
We wanted it at WrestleMania, but
I want to also point out that all members of the Shield were champion at Money in the Bank. I just find that kind of funny.
Right.
But I get your logic. They wanted to cash it in prior to the split. But if you think about it too, and when we were going over our picks, I said straight out, I think Ambrose is winning Money in the Bank, and if he does, then he's cashing in that night. Part of my logic behind that was the last two times the Money in the Bank briefcase has been cashed in, it's been a long time until they cashed it in. So it was time for it to be one of those right-away deals, and this just worked out perfectly. And you know what? It's about time, because Ambrose, took his losses for a while, and we used to talk about, damn, the guy can't win a fucking match, and now here he is as our champion. And then you got somebody like AJ Styles, who does beat John Cena. And I want to, before we even get into that, I want to talk about our picks, because it seems that a lot of the picks were changed.
Yeah, because I didn't change my pick after Tuesday, and I know a lot of people changed it. So you guys were on top of it.
Okay, let me ask this then before you start. What should the cutoff date be before we change?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
There's no rules. So.
I think there should be a cutoff, because even the day of Money in the Bank, there were still the same picks, and it wasn't until later on people went on and changed their picks, and that to me was kind of like, because I came out, and at the time that I selected the Money in the Bank was being cashed in, nobody else had even touched that yet. So I feel like people waited until Ambrose won to then went on and said, all right. So I think we do have to set some ground rules, because I feel like I got a little cheated here. And, with the butterfly belt on the line.
With the butterfly belt on the line, that's right.
So I've said my piece. I just wanted to throw that out.
Fair enough. I agree.
And I know Ryan's listening, so he can.
Hey, look, I'm guilty of that. I'll admit it. I'm guilty of changing the cash in.
Of an elite squad known as the Special Victims Unit.
Ambrose winning the title was changed on Raw after I saw Ambrose and that's perfect.
That's for you, Steve.
Thank you.
Look, send me to Litchfield, all right?
All right. I feel bad because I got into Orange is the New Black late, and I only really watched this season.
Oh, you got to see it from
But it's
the beginning.
great. I mean, at first I wasn't really as into it because, and I was telling my roommate this, and I feel really bad saying this, but it feels like Ryan is saying that Sheet did not change during the pay-per-view because he was watching. He's on top of the shit.
That's horseshit.
Oh, here we go.
No, but that is bullshit. Because I can tell you that as of 5:45, I was still the only person that had a yes in the cash-in category. And I swear people changed their John Cena, AJ Styles pick, and people changed the main event pick as well.
I changed the main event pick.
Yeah, see, there you go.
As soon as Ambrose won Money in the Bank.
See?
I didn't change.
But see, Steve, the reason is because I didn't know what the order of the matches were. You know what I mean?
I listen. I see everybody's side here. I'm just going to stir the pot until somebody argues with somebody. So.
But Steve is right. There were changes during the pay-per-view.
But like, I didn't pick anything past Tuesday, and what I did was, and this is where I think my fault was, I tried to book the show like as poorly as possible. Like, I'm like, what finishes don't I want to see? like half the time because that's what Vince McMahon does. Like with AJ Styles and Cena, I know Cena usually puts the guy over in the first match, and ding, 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 he did. But I thought because of his win-loss record at SummerSlam, which is atrocious, by the way, he was going to wait for SummerSlam to put him over. Maybe SummerSlam is when he puts him over clean, and we get a battleground pay-per-view in between where Cena beats Styles. I don't know. But that's what I was basing my Cena pick on, and that's why I really didn't change it, even though watching the pay-per-view, I'm like, this is going the other way. I didn't like the finish. Let's just put that out there. I did not like that finish at all.
No, it took a lot away from the actual match, which was a great match, except once again, Super Cena made all of Styles' fucking big moves not look like finishers, because of course he kicks out of everything.
What is it? Curtis Axel's the only guy that's ever sold the fucking Styles Clash in the WWE?
Yeah, pretty much. As sad as that is.
Why break it out? Why do it? It's his super, save it as his super move that he has to use to put people away. Like when the flying forearm or whatever the hell it is doesn't work, he has to get out the Styles Clash. But he only uses it like twice a year.
Yeah, I mean, look, from the time he debuted until I would have saved it until WrestleMania and have him actually beat Jericho with it.
Well, yeah, of course. If I feel like WrestleMania was, somebody said to Vince, this is your last WrestleMania. Book it the way you want it, 100%, and we won't change anything. But after today, everything's going a different direction. And I honestly, I feel that's the way, because look, this pay-per-view, if this were 2008, John Cena would have won that match in 7 minutes. Just, that's what it would have been. We're in a different era, and I'm happy I can actually watch the program now, and I hate to say, again, we're not happy that Roman Reigns got suspended. But it gives him a breath of fresh air. It gives him time to sit at home, watch tape, work on stuff, come back fresh, come back with maybe new music, new gear, a new look, a new gimmick, a new something, a change that he can make positively to help improve his character. Whether that's going to happen or not, who knows? He could probably just come back from it and be the same old Roman Reigns with the wettest hair. Who knows? But I would like to see some kind of change for him, and I think it freshens up the main event scene. I think it gives him, so I think overall, even though it's a negative thing, it can turn out to be a positive thing for everybody, because it gives guys like Cesaro and Zayn and Owens a chance to step up and be main eventers. It gives Ambrose a chance to show that he can be the guy carrying the show by himself.
Or the dude.
With Rollins. Right. The dude, El Duderino, if you're not short on the whole brevity thing.
Can we talk about how Dean Ambrose wins the fucking title, and one of the best parts of Raw was watching him show up in a fucking taxi cab, and then chasing down the cab because he forgot the belt in the back seat.
People complained about that like he didn't care about the belt. If he didn't care about the belt, he wouldn't have gone back.
He was being Dean Ambrose, And I watched Dean Ambrose, especially after Raw, and it's just amazing. It's like Vince McMahon had Stone Cold, and now Shane McMahon has Dean Ambrose, and it's like I see a lot of Stone Cold in Dean Ambrose.
Absolutely, and I mean, the comparisons have kind of always been there, but now it's really who else? The only other guy that would come in a taxi was Stone Cold. That's it. It's Stone Cold and Ambrose.
And it's not like Brock Lesnar, who just flat out didn't bring it with him.
Right. Yeah, see, now that was when people got... I was mad at that too, so...
So, why don't we continue... we should, if we're going to stay in order, we'll continue with Money in the Bank, and then...
Yeah, let's talk about Money in the Bank, and we can... Well, I'm sure Roman will come up again in conversation. We don't necessarily have to have him as a topic, you know what I mean? We can just kind of have him as a floating, he's just gonna fucking come up. We already know it's gonna happen. But anyway, go ahead. Let's talk. What are our topics, or should we just go right into it?
Well, I mean, I think we pretty much already started it.
But I mean, what should we start with the pre-show stuff and get that out of the way and kind of get to where we can get ourselves caught up, or?
Yeah, let's do that.
Word. All right. So what was? Let me see. Where's our spreadsheet?
Now I have to say this: Ryan was the only one that chose the Lucha Dragons to go over the Dudleys, and we all thought the Dudleys were taking that. I don't understand the thought process, but whatever.
Thinking back, I'm like, yeah, the Dudleys are here to put over new talent. Why didn't I think that?
Well, yeah, I guess I should have thought of that too, but I just didn't really.
Yeah. No, I get that.
I guess because it was a last-minute put-together match, I was like,
Yeah, no, I understand that. Let's see here. So let me get to the tab that has that. Money in the Bank. So did you? I heard there was a gimmick. I didn't. See, I didn't put down That's why I didn't put anything down for the pre-show matches. I at least would have done a little bit better. Golden Truth versus Febreze, which is what I'm going to call their team, Febreze.
I think I didn't give a shit.
Yes.
yeah, you did.
But you also put Golden Truth, and then you don't give a shit. But I get the sentiment.
Well, listen, I did the point.
Yeah, and you got the point for not giving a shit. There you go. So Ryan just said he went against all of our picks. Basically, that was his strategy in that match.
That's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah, he's like, the Dudley Boys have been there forever, and I just went against your pick. So I was like, okay. Golden Truth against Febreze. I guess Golden Truth messed with their tanning beds, so there was some.
Dude, that was the best part of the whole thing. It was hilarious. They show the two of them get into a tanning booth together, and then
that's
R-Truth
just wrong.
Right, and then R-Truth and Goldust turn up the temperature, so they came out all burnt and it was hilarious.
Right.
and another funny thing is Mauro Ranallo on commentary said, "This is the first time Fandango and Tyler Breeze are appealing."
Oh, thank you, Morrow. See, now I don't mind Morrow saying that, but I can guarantee you if Byron Saxton said it, I'd be really angry. And I don't know what. Listen, again, I'm gonna apologize if anybody knows the guy. I really hate Byron Saxton. I can't describe why. I can't tell you. He's Bryant Gumbel. He's an Oreo. He's so white it hurts. Like, I just don't know. He's got that face.
He wasn't terrible doing NXT commentary.
No, but he's so much worse on Raw.
That's for sure.
God, it's not great.
Tell us how you really feel.
What was that?
Tell us how you really feel.
I just and I don't know why. I can't say I've ever met the guy or I've had a bad interaction with him. His commentary on Raw, you can just like the pay-per-view. I was watching with Alexis, and every so often I just go, "Shut up, Byron." Like,
That's funny.
It's just it's a trigger for me. I don't know. Let's see. Dudley Boys, Lucha Dragons. Is there anything much to say about that match? I'll be honest, I didn't watch the pre-show.
Not at all.
Yeah, no, move on.
So Charlotte and Dana against Natty and Becky.
Well, that definitely didn't go the way I expected it to. Oh, actually, I think we all got that wrong.
No, Eric changed.
No, I got that right, and I didn't change that one. I had Charlotte and Dana because I knew it was too early to break up Dana and Charlotte.
Yeah, but you figured we all figured it's a non-title match time for the challenge.
What I did not see coming was Charlotte, Natty turning heel.
Well, we'll
Becky's
get to that on Raw.
Becky is the Sting of the women's division. Like, remember in the 80s when Sting used to befriend somebody and then they'd heel turn on a pay-per-view later? Yeah.
Horsemen, yep.
Yep, every horseman. Jesus, it happened all the time, and it didn't happen with, like, Vader.
I gotta be honest, the whole deal with Charlotte and Dana, like, Dana's ruining it for me because
Dana's awful.
She's fucking horrible. She looks horrible. She doesn't shut up. She does not shut the fuck up. And it's just, she's obnoxious. I cannot stand watching her. And Charlotte doesn't need her. I
agree.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
No,
after dumping her father, she would have been perfect on her own.
Right, yeah. I think she could have. I think their fear was she couldn't hold up her end by herself, so they wanted to put her with somebody, but you need to put her with somebody strong, like Ric Flair. Or when you break her up from Rick, you put her with somebody else that's equally as strong. You don't put in somebody with... It's they literally took out a veteran and put in a rookie in this situation.
100%.
It doesn't work that way. It just you can't go backwards like that. So
Right.
That's not how any of this works.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the match order here. Oh, Apollo Crews versus Sheamus. Did anybody really give a shit about this match? Like, I'm sorry, Apollo Crews, but I just don't know what the spot
I wasn't
is.
really paying attention, honestly.
I mean, I will say Apollo Crews, he looked good in the match. He did well. And it ended the way we expected. Apollo Crews won. So
Absolutely, and I think he's a good wrestler. I think he's got a good look. He's got those big, bright white teeth. He always looks happy. Like, he's a babyface. Forever a babyface. You could never turn this guy heel. I just don't know what
He's Ricky Steamboat.
Yeah, I don't know what his spot is on the roster right now. I feel like he should be down in NXT. Like, when Balor leaves or when Joe leaves, he should be the top guy in NXT for a little while and kind of sit in the soup. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, the NXT gatekeeper.
they're rushing all these guys up,
They are.
especially now with the brand split coming.
Yeah, but then did you hear they're calling back a bunch of veterans?
Well, I mean, listen, we've been talking about Kurt Angle for a long time.
Kurt
and-
Angle said it on Mark
I mean-
Madden's Sirius XM show.
Right, that it's not if, it's when.
Exactly.
So, right, and I mean, listen, now's the time. I mean, you got SmackDown, he was a big part of SmackDown. But not only that, you got the Alphas that are going to be called up, that he would be perfect to restart a Team Angle. You got Rusev as the United States champion, so what a better way than Kurt Angle to come in and go after Rusev for the title. So there's, and then, of course, a Hall of Fame spot. So it makes a lot of sense. I like that I heard they're looking after John Morrison, although he's got a contract with Lucha. Ray, Shelton Benjamin, which I think he's also in contract with Global.
But what does that mean?
Well, right.
Did you hear? I heard a couple others which got me excited. MVP, Carlito, and Stevie Richards.
I didn't hear any of those three.
Yeah,
but
the Stevie Richards thing I was curious about.
Yeah, Steve, you go to my Facebook, I tagged Stevie Richards in it like yesterday, I think it was, and it was something from Meltzer that said that they're reaching out to a bunch of guys like that. So I would be hype if they brought back those guys. Because listen, Carlito, yeah, I get he was quote unquote lazy. Whatever the perception was of Carlito was not the best. And
If
it
he
was
can make his brother and cousin relevant.
That instantly revitalizes whatever gimmick they're going with them.
100%.
If you bring in Carlito. Because then, even if they want to keep with the Puerto Rico thing, then he could be like, if you don't come to Puerto Rico, you're not cool. And then it just ties back in. I don't know. It seems easy. Am I wrong? Is this stuff not easy?
I mean, it is for us.
Right.
But,
I mean, we're looking at it from the outside here. Okay, so 4-way tag team match. The result, these definitely. Oh no, somebody still has the club. Steve has the club, and he was given a point, so he needs to be taking a point away on that one. Everybody else said the New Day, but I remember it was real mixed up last Tuesday when we were going over it. So good on you for those of you jumping on board with the New Day.
I mean, listen, I'm happy the New Day kept him, but
Yeah.
I there was a part of me that thought the club was gonna.
Yeah, and I thought it was time for a title change because it was a 4-way match, but then in the back of my mind, I was reading online, people were saying they can't, if they lose the tag titles, they could be split up in the draft. So it would be better for them to retain the tag team titles and stay together as a unit at least until after the draft.
They have to keep them together.
I had also heard that they wanted to at least break the streak that London and Kendrick had as tag champs or something.
And they'll do that because they're about 20-something days away. So even assuming they don't lose it on television and they have a title defense on pay-per-view, that's 33 days away. So they'll definitely break the record.
I'm thinking SummerSlam is when it'll happen.
Yeah, the law that could be. Or they could lose it before that and then have SummerSlam be Enzo and Cass's big match against whoever it is, because you can't, unless you really, really want to put over Enzo and Cass big and turn the New Day. You can't have them go straight up in a match like that, babyface versus babyface. And I don't know if they're sowing the seeds for a heel turn. Speaking of, and here he comes again, like a bad rash. Roman Reigns, were they planting the seeds for a heel turn with him on Raw last night?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean,
Okay.
you know, I mean, listen, it's about fucking time. You're not going to get him over. Turn him fucking heel. We've been saying it for months now. So, and I mean, listen, it's so funny that it took John Cena to, like, officially, like, get over. Like, people are cheering for Cena.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's
a weird world we live in where we want John Cena on television.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely shocked. Me from 10 years ago would be horrified. But in those 10 years, he's learned to wrestle and apparently speak Mandarin.
And it was that I'm telling you, it was that U.S. title run last year that got me on board.
Yeah, and I mean, I think he's still way overexposed and should be there to put over new talent at this point, which he was doing with that thing, but the only reason that the U.S. title thing kind of bugged me was that you knew the finish of every match. John Cena wasn't going to lose the U.S. title until they were good and ready for it, so even though Sami Zayn goes out there and busts his ass, it's not going to change anything. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Cena's still a champion. It helps those guys prove themselves and work and get experience, but I mean, you come in and you go, oh, what was your first Raw match? Well, I lost to John Cena. Okay, big name, John Cena, but you lost. Like, I don't know. I feel like it did good for people, but at the same time, it could be interpreted other ways. So I'm just playing devil's advocate here. But I agree. I think Cena did a lot with that. I just don't know if him constantly beating the newcomers was the way to go about it. I don't know, but he was a babyface, so it made sense. So, Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler. We all correctly predicted Baron Corbin, and will please God and Jesus and everybody else up there, this feud has to be over. Right?
End my torture, I swear to God.
Please. He wrestled. Somebody said they were going to throw out their television. I was reading online yesterday if on Raw they had a rematch between Ziggler and Corbin, and I'm right there with them.
Yeah, I'm there too. It's overkill already.
So they had him wrestle Ryder, which that's not going to turn into anything. You can't have a feud with Ryder. Nobody's going to believe that Ryder's going to win.
Right.
So I don't know what the hell they're going to do. I didn't particularly. I was in the middle of this. Can we let's put all the cards on the table here. The pay-per-view was on the laptop because Game of Thrones was on the big screen, and Game 7 was on my iPhone. So I was tapped in last night, and so I didn't have exactly 100% attention on Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin. There were other more pressing issues, if you catch.
That's how I used to do my homework in high school. I'd have the TV on and the computer on and listening to music all at the same time.
Listen, it's so unhealthy that the WWE has given me this option. It should be illegal. So now I was streaming HBO to my TV. I was streaming the WWE pay-per-view to my laptop. Both, the one's a television show which is taped, one is streamed live, and then I was streaming ESPN live on my phone. We are living in the future. All we need is those big Star Trek spaceships. That's it, and teleportation. That's it. We got everything else. We are set. We're in the future. So let's get back into this one of the semi-main events here. AJ Styles against John Cena.
Phenomenal match, but a horrible finish. And a predictable finish, because even him signing that contract, you damn well knew they were going to interfere.
Yeah.
And I also really don't like the fact that Cena kicked out of a Styles Clash like it was nothing.
Well, yes, okay. Let's address a couple things.
Finishers are not finishers anymore, and it fucking sucks.
Yeah. That's true, because now, and I'd like to say it's partially John Cena's fault because he brought this from the Indies, and him and Daniel Bryan brought this terrible thing from Ring of Honor and the rest, and PWG and the rest of the Indies and Japan that I absolutely hate. And it's that ending sequence where everybody hits 6 finishers and everybody kicks out at 2. And it got big reactions when John Cena and Daniel Bryan were doing it. And, of course, then it ended with the finisher that nobody even knew Daniel Bryan had with the big knee for his title win. After that, though, they brought it back. Cena would use it in his U.S. title matches. Bryan would use it in his matches. And now it just seems like it's standard for main events, especially now that you have guys who came in from the indies coming in, where it's finisher spam. It's like you're playing WWE 2K16, and you like go into the settings and you give yourself 3 or 4 finishers, like already charged up. It's craziness.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
Especially when they talked about the Styles Clash when AJ Styles came in very reverently. They spoke about it as if it was a world beater of a move, and it should have been. Absolutely, Eric, you're right. It should have been Styles Clash 1, 2, 3 at WrestleMania, and any time that Styles uses the Styles Clash, unless somebody comes in and interferes, or the lights go out and Sabu arrives, or whatever the fuck happens, the Sandman's music hit, I don't know. Whatever the fuck happens, he has to be physically taken off of the man for the pinfall. Otherwise, every time he hits the Styles Clash, it should be a pinfall, because they should treat it like a big move. They've killed it. They have officially killed the Styles Clash as a finisher, because John Cena and Roman Reigns have both kicked out of it. It means nothing.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
But I did, again, it's a very well-wrestled match. John Cena had a little bit of ring rust. He moved a little slow. But, listen, the guy's 38 years old. I'm not going to give him too much shit about it. The reason the finish sucked is that they spent all this time talking about how it's going to be a one-on-one match, etc., etc. And I know we're all about swerves, and wrestling is about promising one thing and delivering another, or setting one expectation and doing something different. But, in this case, a one-on-one match between those guys is what people want to see. And I guess maybe that's the thought, is that they don't give them the one-on-one match with the clean finish until 3 or 4 pay-per-views from now to get the Pise. All right, it's good in that sense. But in another sense, the first match between these two guys with a lot of build-up, 15 years worth of hype behind it, and it's a shitty finish like that, I don't like it.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you.
I just feel so, like, I don't know. I can't really put into words. It's more of a disappointment, because they did wrestle a really good match, and it could go down as a classic match, and it's probably going to be on that AJ Styles DVD that comes out in 3 years or 2 years or whatever it is when they do the big recap of his career. But the finish just it kills it. It takes it from being like, not that the star system or a 10 out of 10 ranking system is anything special, but hear me out here. It takes the match from like, an 8 or 9 out of 10 to like a 6 or a 7. Finish alone.
100%. I agree.
And there was no... Think about what happened with Roman Reigns. There was a ref bump, there was a pinfall, there was a kick out. Then there was a finishing sequence. That didn't happen in this match. There was a ref bump, they hit the magic killer, and that was it. AJ Styles didn't get up and do a fucking spiral tap. He didn't wait for Cena to get up from the magic killer and hit a phenomenal forearm. He didn't hit him with a Styles. He didn't prick him up and hit him with a Styles Clash while he was groggy. There was 1,000 things. He could have hit him with a Pele kick. I don't know. AJ Styles has a million fucking moves. He could have done anything. And yet he chose to watch the guy. He didn't even watch. The guys hit the magic killer. He crawls into the ring, and John Cena it's funny to say John Cena eats the pin, but he ate the pin. He ate it like a sack lunch. Nom nom.
It's very true.
Weird. It was a weird
Yeah.
thing out. Like, it was just made me feel. It made my skin feel weird.
I think it was all built for just so Styles could come out and say, "I didn't know."
Right.
During his promo.
It's
Those apologies were hysterical, by the way.
Goodness.
It was a good promo.
I got wrapped up in Orange is the New Black, so I got to catch up. But I'll definitely watch that one because I heard it was pretty funny.
So it was hilarious.
I'm sorry.
So the only other one left is the Money in the Bank.
Yes. Oh no,
Yep.
wait. Real quick, Rusev and Titus. Not like anybody gave a shit, but did anybody give a shit?
No.
No.
I tweeted that I didn't give a shit.
All right, there you go. I should scroll through Twitter more often. But seriously, and then the worst part is they have him lose on Father's Day, and then Rusev goes over and starts making fun of.
Your father's a loser. Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, that was funny.
Rusev.
I'm like, that's cold-hearted, man. That's awesome.
Rusev, like, and I know some people give him shit or they think he's like, I don't know, like a big guy and he doesn't move. I don't know. I think he moves well for a big guy. I think he wrestles really well. I think he wrestles better than Sheamus. Sheamus has had a much bigger spot on the roster than Rusev. I think Rusev is one of the most naturally funny guys and has a natural charisma and a personality about him than anybody else that's come up recently aside from like Kevin Owens. Like Kevin Owens has just he's him and he has this charisma about him that even though you don't like him or he's saying stuff that you don't like, it's attractive.
But I think Rusev's is unintentional, or at least it was at first.
Rusev, yeah, I don't know. He plays. Here's the thing: because he speaks English fluently and he's kind of putting on this whole "I'm foreign" thing. I almost feel like it's a Borat, where the actor knows that it's a bit or it's a gimmick.
I see.
You're on board. You're on board, but if you're not, the suit is not black. You know, that's what you're gonna get. It's gonna be like, well, why is this guy just said something really funny? Oh, he's a hilarious foreign guy. He didn't understand the translation. No, he's doing this intentionally. And you're right. It might have started out as unintentional, but now it's beautiful. Just his Twitter account is all in broken English. Like how much better can you get than that?
He should do like a Yakov Smirnov thing, like in Bulgaria.
Oh no! Title wins you. Awful. So yeah, let's never talk about that match again.
What match? We're talking
Exactly.
about a match? Man, what happened?
Lana.
Matchka, more like it.
One thing I did want to point out: Lana is still dressing like she's dating Ziggler,
Yeah, I noticed that.
with like the leather.
The Motley
whatever-
Crue groupie thing.
Yeah, I don't know what she was wearing on Sunday. It was
She's
very
looking
nice.
great, though.
She's looking fantastic, but I'm just saying, maybe I don't know. It's time for a wardrobe change for her too. It's a new era. Everybody should just update their shit a little bit, just a little. to keep it relevant.
Little tweak.
All right, so now we get into the meat and potatoes, the match that we have waited for a very long time for, due to injuries, this and that. Could have been WrestleManias multiple times, but wasn't. Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is getting better, guys, which is great.
Yeah.
That match was well done.
When you go, here's the thing: when you go from like a 1 to a 3, you've improved like 66%, but you're still on the bottom. You know, you're still a 3 out of 10. But he's improved. He's gonna take slower than John Cena did. You know, there was that point where every match John Cena wrestled was terrible, and that lasted about 4 or 5 years. This is gonna last a little bit longer than that because he still just feels kind of green. But if you notice, and this is the exciting part, when he taps into that heel side of his personality, when he's saying, you're the little brother, and when he was pushing Seth around and being a heel, it felt so much more natural. It felt right. He was that is his role. He's
hard to sympathize for how big
really
strong he is.
Especially
You know what
since
else
he's an
too in
underdog
that
that
match?
never loses.
That match, Rollins hit an air pedigree.
Yes.
That was awesome.
Spear. That was fucking amazing.
Speaking of fucking amazing, how about the springboard European uppercut from Cesaro in the TLC?
Oh,
That was nice.
Yes.
But yeah, the air pedigree was fantastic. I like that. We're arguing. You know, people have argued about this on the internet whether or not it was a clean victory for Seth Rollins. I will say this is the cleanest victory in a main event you can fucking get in the WWE in 2016.
What was the claim that it wasn't clean?
There was a ref bump.
Oh.
Yeah, there was a ref bump, and Roman made a cover, and he could have theoretically won the match. But it was just not. Listen,
But there were no shenanigans, though.
Right, there were no
Yeah,
shenanigans,
that's what
there were no run-ins, there was no chairs. Oh, and the other thing was they said they did the barricade spot with the medics, so they protected him twice.
Get
Once
the
with
fuck
the
outta here.
once with the ref bump and then once with the medic finish. And I'm
That
saying,
spear when he hit, I mean, that was.
That looked pretty brutal.
That was
well, 'cause
intense.
the thing didn't collapse. You know how like you expect it to fall over?
Right.
Oh yeah,
It didn't.
the wall
It
beat him.
just, yeah, the wall won that one.
Hmm.
So, but yes, I think that's as clean of a clean victory as you can get, because what happens if you're in the ring and Roman Reigns tries to hit a spear and you step out of the way and you push him and he lands in the turnbuckle and hits himself and you roll him up? Is that not clean? It's the same shit.
Right.
He ducked out of the way of his spear. It was
Yeah.
in the context of the match. It wasn't a cheating thing. So I think this was a very as clean as you can get in 2016. There was still a ref bump and the medic stuff and whatever, but it was in the ring. There were no tables, ladders, and chairs, no Bullet Club, no NWO, no
No
Nexus.
JJ security.
Right, no JJ security. And if you notice, Seth Rollins did every single spot that he shouldn't do with a bad knee just to prove that his knee is fine.
100%.
He did the sunset flip powerbomb. He did all of his aerial moves, diving outside. It really, like, every time he did something, Alexis would scream. She's like, "Watch out for your knee!" And it's like, well, he's got it.
He even did the
Yep.
same move that put him out in the first place.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was, I mean, listen, I as somebody who's had a knee injury like that, I'm very, very happy he came back from this and didn't get injured in his next match out.
Yeah, no, he did a good job. The match was great. Ambrose cashing in was great. The whole thing was great. I went to bed very happy. And when was the last time a WWE pay-per-view went to 11:20?
Yeah, I thought it was going.
Yeah, that was
That's not, well.
crazy.
Here's two things. One, now that they're on the network, they can kind of do what they want with the timing. I know there's still something to do with the pay-per-view blocks and how you order the time, etc. So they probably paid a little bit extra on the pay-per-view side to get this pay-per-view extended to 11:20 or so. But what they did was they put in that filler match, the U.S. title match, which we'll never speak of again.
What match?
Yeah, exactly. So they put that in there and waited and did video packages, etc., and waited for the Warriors game to Cleveland, the Cleveland, whatever they are. And,
The Cavs.
Oh, them. Yeah, I don't speak about them either. No, but anyway, the Cavs and the Warriors game was over, and then they started the main event. So that's why I think it went a little bit late.
Oh, that makes sense. So we're about 15 minutes. We got to touch on Raw because we had the return of Sasha Banks. We had the return of the Wyatts, which got interrupted by the New Day, and I love the New Day, but I was really waiting for a good Bray promo, and I was kind of pissed about that.
I don't like that.
And how about Enzo and Shane cross-sliding on the
That
stage?
was awesome.
Fucking awesome.
Yes. Yeah. Did you notice that Bray can apparently hypnotize Xavier Woods now?
Yeah, that was pretty weird.
So that might be a recurring.
That was very Ghostbusters too.
Yeah.
It reminded me of when Santino had the Cobra and they played the flute, and then the Cobra listened to Jinder instead of him, or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't make any sense. It's your hand, bro. But anyway, Xavier can get hypnotized by Bray because apparently he leveled up while he was injured. And Enzo and Shane both had custom Jordans made by the same custom company. They're probably very expensive. I would want a pair, but I'm sure they're very expensive. But it was just they both mentioned, Shane mentioned it on Twitter, and it's interesting that they both have not only got custom Jordans, it's the same pair of shoes, but from the same vendor or the same artist. And you notice they're pairing Enzo and Cass up with the McMahons pretty quickly here, so they're both in line for a big push.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, yeah, I'm okay with that. The New Day has had their push, and I'm okay with their day in the spotlight, so to speak, ending, because they're gonna be perpetually over babyface or heel because they've proven they can work both sides.
Yep.
And I think the titles have done what they need to do for them because they've got much like Road Dogg would say, your WWE Tag Team Champions of the World. Okay, you had that. Now we've got our WWE You know what? You've got that. So now that they've got everything that the fucking New Age Outlaws had, they don't need the title.
And they'll get the belts again one day, probably, and then they can say you're 3-time champs.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that
Or your
I think
former,
that ends when,
former
right,
champ.
your former 2-time champion. You can still do it. You can definitely still do it even though
Oh,
even
yeah.
without the belts, which is a good thing. So they've developed that. And they've actually and it's the first time in Kofi Kingston's career that he's been over without him. He's been maybe the second time that he's been organically over and above having a title belt because he was in a feud with Randy Orton and
Yeah,
he
I was
didn't win
gonna
the
mention
championship,
that.
but he looked fucking awesome.
Yeah. When he fucked up his car.
The NASCAR, yeah, man.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
That boom drop off the thing.
Yep. Yeah, the boom drop off the thing was off of the a piece of staging or something.
it was railing.
It was a railing onto, and Randy Orton was on one of those roadie carts or something, right?
Yep.
Okay, I vaguely remember that spot now, but I
Can
remember
we-
it's been a replays.
Can we talk about how fucking hot Sasha Banks looked last night?
Sasha Banks is a very attractive woman. I will say that as an objective statement. Both because
Not trying to get some heat.
Yeah, both because my girlfriend listens to this podcast and because her husband is my Facebook friend. So, we're gonna.
What?
Her husband is my Facebook friend. What? That's just the thing. You know Makazi from Up Up Down Down?
Yeah. Oh, I thought you. I
Sasha's
was
husband.
in separating the two.
Oh no, not
I thought
Alexis'
you were like,
husband.
My
Good
girlfriend
lord, did I
watching
just?
this.
Oh, did I just give up that Alexis is secretly married? Shit.
Sorry, I was just like, what the? What?
Ryan was
elaborate.
really concerned for me. Wow, I was a little like Michael Scott dating Donna in season.
That was the greatest
7 and
face ever.
That was
Yeah,
fun.
no. Not Sasha's husband is my Facebook friend, not
Okay.
Alexis's husband. As far as you're concerned, I'm Alexis's husband. But
I was happy though that she finally had a return. She got a great ovation from the crowd too.
Sasha Banks has wrestled 6 matches in 2016, and that's a travesty.
Yeah. Well, it looks like she's gonna start to get her push now.
Yep.
Good, and I hope that SummerSlam is when she gets the title.
I do too.
Because I think Charlotte got made. She got the title. She'll be the first ever WWE Women's Champion, forever and always, etc., in the record books. She doesn't need it. She doesn't need it now. She can come back to it when she needs it again, or come back to it when they need to further a story. And I think we're at that tipping point for a lot of stuff, which is this new era. Look at us. I love it, Mago.
I'm very excited with this new era.
We're in a new era, Mago. Honestly, I would put Big Cass in the main event picture and have Enzo be his manager. Not right now, but
Down the line.
Sooner than later.
Sooner than later, yeah. Because Enzo's fine wrestling, but I think he can be the
He was the vocal point in the tag match.
Yeah, you remember the old Looney Tunes cartoon with the big dog and the little dog, and the big dog never talked, and the little dog did all the talking? Yeah, that's what they could do. He could be the little
Speaking
dog.
of vocal, how about Cena calling all his spots?
Cena talks too much. He definitely talks too much in the ring. People said they could hear other people, though. So online I was reading that perhaps the WWE has the mic that mics the ring turned up too much. It was too sensitive on Sunday night.
And the camera angles probably, could
But
change.
historically, if you watch John Cena's matches, he calls spots so everybody in the first 10 rows can hear him. It's really obvious, unfortunately. But did he wrestle last night? Well, let's see. So, no, it was just the Bullet Club promo. Oh, our main event was...
he did wrestle.
Oh, that's right.
Just
He
was
wrestled
very
Carl Anderson
short.
and kicked the shit out of him, right? Oh boy, how did Carl Anderson look getting the shit kicked out of him? At least
Looked alright.
He looked okay.
But it looked like he was waiting for them to come out, not like.
Right, of course. Not just eating them. Yeah, okay, that's good.
So it felt more of a setup than him just getting the shit kicked out of him.
Good, better than that. So main event was Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. They are destined to fight forever.
Main event was the triple threat. Not
Yeah,
the triple
well,
threat. Rollins
yeah, but it
and
ended the.
Reigns.
Yeah, but that dumbed it in a double count out. It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Let's get one with a finish. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. Sami wins with a roll up. Post match gets attacked by Owens. I love that they're just gonna keep doing this forever. And
Yep.
ever. Please, just let them do it. Did you see they hit the Michinoku driver on the ladder?
Oh
Like,
God, that
one
was
of their-
weird.
Oh,
They did that in one of their other ladder war matches in Ring of Honor, so that was like a callback.
yeah, I did remember seeing that.
Fantastic. So I guess we should mention it since it is Roman Reigns' last match. Everybody take a shot. We mentioned Roman Reigns. How was the Roman Reigns double count out, whatever bullshit finish match? Did anything notable
It's
happen?
pretty similar to the night previous to it.
Was
So
there
pretty-
any indication? Because this is weird to me that this story broke on a Tuesday, first of all. Especially if they could have known about it sooner than that, but I don't know. Was there any indication at the end of Raw that he was going away? Because they did book the triple threat match and all that stuff. There was no indication on Raw that that any consequence was coming to him.
Nope.
No.
Fucking weird.
WrestleZone is saying that they knew about it Sunday.
Huh.
But then why wouldn't they have written him off TV?
Well, look at what they did with WrestleMania. He wasn't on TV for fucking.
I have no
6
idea.
weeks.
Doesn't
He wasn't
make sense,
suspended
but
and he was off TV. They could just promote this match without him. I
could,
don't know
but
if
it
they
doesn't make
wanted-
sense.
Yeah,
You got to address the elephant in the room somehow.
Yeah. I wonder what the solution is to that.
And what kind of message does it send to backstage if you get your first strike? You're right
Yeah.
up in there in the main event.
Oh, I know.
You know, I just have to say this: that they don't do long-term booking anymore, and I understand that they can't because there's all these pay-per-views and this and that, and the fact that they want to add more, which is that's besides the point.
Insane.
That's
Yeah.
besides the point. But and even though we know we're not going to get this at a WrestleMania because of the timing, but SummerSlam to me is when they could prolong that. I mean, shit. This is maybe this is just me. This is what I would have done. Instead of having Shane come out, I would have had Stephanie come out, have Triple H say, "I'm the first one that should get my rematch," and then they do Ambrose versus Triple H and Rollins versus Reigns at Battleground
Right.
with
That would have
the.
been fun.
Then
And
that
then-
ends in a double whatever, and then they lead to the triple threat at SummerSlam.
And Dean Ambrose gets his win back from Triple H.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah,
gonna
from
say.
Roadblock. Yes.
He gets the pin from it.
And
That
not,
was-
not just Roadblock, but the Royal Rumble too.
Yeah.
It
I
was-
also had a theory for the Cena AJ thing,
Yeah.
where it looks to me like it's going to be 3-on-1 for a little bit. So I have Cena bring up Finn Balor as his partner against the three of them in like a elimination match. They both eliminate Gallows and Anderson, and then Balor turns on Cena, and then it leads to a Cena Balor SummerSlam match.
What about Randy Orton, John Cena, and Finn Balor?
Well, Orton
First
is
of
about
club.
due.
Yeah, he's due. Yo, did you guys watch Swerved?
I
Yeah.
can't say I watched it.
I've watched some of it.
Did you see how chunky Randy was?
I didn't
he got,
really notice that.
he got chunk face.
I
Like I,
didn't
don't know if
notice
it's
that
all over, but he was just a little. He was a little chunky in the face. Like I don't know if it was muscle or he was enjoying catering in his off time. I'm sure he's gonna be back to ring shape, but I mean, he just looked a little husky, huskier than usual.
Hey, did
When was-
anyone watch the Austin podcast?
I did not.
Yes.
I watched it this morning, and
Me too.
it was a great fucking interview. And they did talk a lot about TNA, which I was surprised.
Yeah, that was.
But it was a really, really great interview, Vince. You should definitely check it out. And anyone who hasn't watched it yet, AJ's got a good story, man. It's a great interview.
And I
it
like
was
that
weird how.
he
Go on,
put
I'm
over
sorry.
guys like Christopher Daniels and Kazarian and Samoa Joe and guys like that he worked with, which is awesome.
Yeah, Kurt Angle, all types of shit.
It was weird just how casually he dropped his dad was abusive. Like, right out of the gate.
It wasn't really that his dad was abusive. It was more that he was an alcoholic.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, though.
Did anyone notice during the pre-show that Lita accidentally said Bullet Club and then she corrected herself?
Yeah.
Now,
Cena's done that
She
twice.
looked noticeably like, oh man, I wasn't supposed to say that.
she had a little math problem at the NXT thing, wasn't she? Like, well, isn't 100 like 10 times better than 10 anyway? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, honey, 10 times 10 is 100. Add the 0.
That's what's the end.
Yeah, that's
What a twist!
Do we want to talk about Lawler?
Yeah. Let's talk about Lawler for a second. I obviously don't want to seem biased because I've worked with Jerry Lawler and I consider him at the very least a coworker, if not a casual acquaintance, who I see a couple times a year. It seems out of character for him because when I've been around him, he's talked about her in a very respectful way. He would show me pictures of like dresses she was trying on and talking about getting her recording time in the studio because she wanted to be a country singer, things like that. That being said, what people do in their personal lives is completely different, and I have no idea. To me, from what I read in the article, and I don't want to seem biased, and I would like to keep an open mind, but it seems to me that she came back to the house drunk, and there was an argument, and Jerry was pushed to a certain limit, and I'm not saying his reaction was the right one. It probably wasn't. Was it the right decision that he thought it was at the time? Sure. But is it ultimately a good decision to get a gun and put it down on the counter and say, well, you wanted to kill yourself, just go kill yourself? I mean, the gun wasn't loaded. He
But
wasn't
he
trying to
claims he
shoot her.
didn't say that.
And again, you got to it's a he said she said. We'll never know. We will never know the truth about this.
We don't really know. Yeah.
And it seems like there are deeper issues, interpersonally between them. It seems like this was various
There's a big age gap.
things. Yeah, there's a big age gap, and it seems like various things might have come to a head in one argument here. That's my takeaway. Whether or not that's accurate, I don't know. I can't speak to that. But I don't know. I feel bad for both of them because it's a bad situation.
Walter's seeming like he's losing out on more though.
Yes, being the celebrity in the relationship, absolutely. He could be let go from his position at WWE.
Let me put this out there. Do you think this would give someone like maybe like a Corey Graves a chance to come up to SmackDown?
Yeah, that would be
interesting. At least temporarily.
Give him a tryout. It's better. I mean,
especially for
him and Morrow as a commentary team would be delightful.
Yeah, I think that would be like that's why I think SmackDown's going to be the Smarky show, and you're going to have like AJ Styles and a bunch of indie guys on SmackDown, and you're going to have all the mainstream guys like Cena and Roman and all that shit on the you're going to have the body guys on Raw, and then you're going to have the indie guys on SmackDown. And I'd be totally okay with that because then I don't have to fucking watch Raw anymore. Sorry, I got better things to do with 3 hours on a Monday night. It's a big
3 hours is rough.
2 hours was a time investment, but it was doable. 2 hours is a movie. 3 hours is the Lord of the Rings. That's the big difference. Did you guys hear the promo that Dean Ambrose cut? It was it was like a mobile online exclusive, whatever you want to call it.
Yep, Facebook Live.
Yeah, and this was this was it's a minute and a half long. So this was one of the if you weren't sold on Dean Ambrose as being a WWE champion, this should sell you on it. Let's see. Courtesy of WWE.com.
Get a word? It's an incredible night here in Las Vegas. You win the Money in the Bank contract.
It's a long night.
That's a long night. You're WWE World Heavyweight Champion, man. How do you feel?
I had a lot of long nights. A whole lot of long nights. 12 years, more miles traveled, more cars wrecked,
sitting in the back of squad cars more times than I care to admit. A whole bunch of stuff that I can't talk about in a PG show. More bruises, breaks, more pain, more frustration than anybody can imagine that wears a tie, you know what I'm saying? But hey, we made it. And it's not me. It's not just me. It's all the people who supported me along the way, who helped me along the way, who stuck with me. People stuck with me. Helped me stay alive. This is theirs. This belongs to them. They know who they are. And I say thank you to them. Everybody else, everybody who want to write me off, well, they can all kiss the champ's ass. You know what I'm saying? We're sitting pretty on the top of the mountain tonight, boys. Oh, man, I need a drink.
That's the most Dean Ambrose thing you could possibly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he is.
Yep.
I mean, listen, that was it. That's your money promo. You replay that on Raw a million times. He was just the way he laughed at the end. It was a validation. He was just so relieved, and you could just see it on his face. Like it was a real reaction. It was a real feeling. It wasn't some put on bullshit. That promo was very sincere, in the vein of a Dusty Rhodes, my hand touching your hand kind of feeling. He has that sincerity that Roman Reigns just doesn't. Take a shot. I said Roman Reigns, but he just doesn't have it the way that Dean Ambrose does. And Seth's got a completely different kind of charisma, but he's got it. It's just different. Seth really is a scumbag. Let's be honest. Like it's his character. And I think that's kind of him. That's kind of him in real life. If his relationships, his interpersonal relationships, are any indication. So I mean, hey, he leans into it. I appreciate it. But listen, personal life aside, he's a damn good wrestler, and I wasn't completely sold on Seth Rollins for a very long time, and I think he came back and he showed me something, and I like that. He came back and they put him over clean as a whistle. It's amazing. It's I still can't get over that. This is getting buried amongst a very exciting news of a title change, but Seth Rollins pinned Roman Reigns. The last time Roman Reigns was pinned clean was 2012 in FCW by the former Adam Rose, Leo Kruger. That's how far back it's been since he's been pinned. This guy's been protected.
I also love the cash in, because it kind of comes full circle with the Shield, with what Rollins did to break up the Shield. How do you like it?
From behind as well.
Yep, I was just gonna say.
And then Dean saying to Roman, "Hey, I would have cashed it on you too."
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and I'm glad he says that, because if not,
that's his character. He would have done. You would expect no less from Dean Ambrose.
Well, did you see the Kayfabe News article that said Dean Ambrose just didn't want to carry around this stupid briefcase, and then today he did an interview with like ESPN or Fox Sports or somebody where he goes, "Yeah, I didn't want to carry that thing around, so I just decided to do it that night."
Yeah.
I was like, shit, he said it. That's wonderful. I hope everybody gets on board with Dean Ambrose.
I appreciate last night.
What happened last night?
Dean Ambrose hitting the dirty deeds on Reigns as soon as the match was over.
Oh, that is, yep.
Yeah, the fact that he hit
as
Reigns
soon as
first.
he was opponent, taking both out.
Yeah, and
Yep.
I'm glad that they're taking the dirty deeds and they've made it a real finisher now, because you notice when he hits people with it, they stay down. It's minor things, but it changes the booking of the guy. Like, look, he would hit the dirty deeds on Roman a million times and he'd just stand up. Like he wouldn't even sell it, he'd just stand back up. And now he hits it with him and he's fucking dead. Dead as a doornail.
That's what Heyman was talking about.
Yeah. He looks much stronger now than he did losing to Brock Lesnar. losing to Brock Lesnar really didn't do anything for him. This does a lot more for him, being the face of the I can't believe it, Michael. His face is gonna be on the side of a city bus. Yeah, man, that's what you know. He's gonna be on the Today Show. Well, I'm sorry, JBL. Yeah, he's gonna be on the Good Morning America or whatever the hell it is. Definitely gonna happen. Unless they just have him hold the title for 33 days.
Should be a fun interview.
What if Roman Reigns comes back from his PED suspension? I'm assuming it's PEDs. I'm sorry. I shouldn't assume. Alleged PED suspension. Imagine if he comes back and wins the title that night. How pissed would people be?
There would be a riot.
Yeah, I don't know what would happen.
There'd be a hashtag.
There would be a hashtag cancel WWE Network. Boy, that never works.
Oh yeah.
Well, that is. I
No.
think we've about wrapped it up for tonight. Does anybody have any final
Before
thoughts?
we
Go ahead.
close it out,
Yes, please.
let's turn out our draft line. When is the final time to adjust?
I
was
think
listening
started.
to,
I think it should be started the pay-per-view.
Start of the pay-per-view.
Like started the pre-show.
Start of the pre-show. That seems fair.
Start of the pre-show.
Day of the show. Start of the pre-show. It is
Okay.
Yep.
I'm good with that.
approved.
I will 7 o'clock every pay-per-view. I'll take a screenshot
There you go. I like
and
it.
it'll go into the messenger. Everybody can see it.
Up and up. Man, listen. I'm so
Yep.
glad fantasy football is around only for like 3 or 4 months out of the year, and now you've sucked me back in. At least I don't have to set a lineup. I can just pick matches. But it's like giving me my part of my fantasy football. But I get too deep into fantasy football.
Hey, I literally went for broke this week. This pay-per-view. I took the opposite strategy you took.
Yeah.
I booked it
you
like a
went-
mark and a half.
It paid off. I should have booked it like
Yeah.
Shane was actually booking the show. I don't know. Craziness. But weird world we live in. But we're getting there. So all in all, I think it was a good event. That Money.
All
in
in
the Bank
all,
and
I
a
don't
really
want
good
that
following.
Bratz belt.
All right, guys. Any final thoughts before we close out this evening?
Anyone else can have the big belt.
Well, I know Steve has an
Sorry.
announcement.
Oh yeah, real
Oh
quick.
yes, this is right.
So our next commercial spot will be brought to you by the one and only Mr. Ass, the badass Billy Gunn.
Nice.
And you never know, we may have Billy Gunn coming on the podcast. So stay tuned for that.
Ooh.
That's a very good announcement.
Yeah, I'm pretty fucking excited.
That is how you end a show.
That really is how you end the show, man. That's a good announcement. And with that being said, let me see here. As long as there's not an ad. Oh, there is an ad. I'm gonna vamp for like 10 seconds while this stupid ad goes away. But once again, you should visit tagmeadate.com, the only dating site for wrestling fans. Trust me, we've Googled it. There's nobody else. You should sign up now before we start charging money. Your first 30 days are free.
And sooner or later, we'll be able to start a podcast with this song.
That's right. We're going to start a podcast with this song because we're going to have Mr. Ass on the show. Aside from the fact that this is one of the best songs in the WWE library.
Ah, Jim Johnston, man.
I know he's doing other stuff now. Like he's moved away from doing the themes and he's doing the WWE film scores and he's doing the documentaries and all those series. And that the actual wrestling themes now are being done by the CFOs, which is fine. They do a good job. The only thing is they do samples. They don't do live music like Jim Johnston used to do. So it's loops and it's samples. And if you notice their songs, like Shinsuke Nakamura's theme is great. Sami Zayn's theme is great. These are ones that they really worked on, but they loop about 90 seconds in. They just go around. And
Oh yeah.
and they're known for not having lyrics. That's the other problem is they don't have any lyrics. So that's.
But Jim
kind of an
Johnston,
issue, but
like, he made the Attitude Era songs, you know?
absolutely, he made
Oh, yeah.
made that music helped shape the Attitude Era, and I'm sure we'll get into that as well because I want to know if Billy Gunn had any input into his songs, any of the things that they wanted to say during the songs, the lyrics, etc.
Yeah.
Or if they had any input, like
Good
when
question.
they did the remixes, like they did the remix with who is it? Not DMX, but it was Run DMC. It was Run DMC.
Yeah,
and they
Run
did the remix
DMC.
and
The
like
Kings of Rock.
yeah. So what talk about some of that stuff, music videos, etc. Like there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of ground to cover with a guy like Billy Gunn. And we'll see if he really
Yeah,
is
he's
an
been
ass
in-
man. Has anybody ever asked him
It
that? Let's
feels-
ask him that on a podcast. When we get Billy Gunn on the podcast, the first question will be, Billy Gunn, are you an ass man or are you a boob man? And then we're going to settle it once and for all to
The world
see if
needs
he's
to know.
actually an ass man. The world needs to know. And maybe we get a couple celebrity asses together. Let's get some female wrestling asses together and have him judge the wrestling asses.
I'm in for that.
How about you get like Maria, and then you get like Dana Brooke and Sasha and whoever. Like just get a bunch of women wrestlers, and then we'll have him. Who?
Naomi. I'm just that
Naomi.
ass.
Yes. So we can get a good
Grade
judgment
'em.
on that ass.
Grade that ass. Fight with Mr. Ass.
Grade that ass.
That'd be a great segment.
Oh yes, absolutely. Okay, so that's gonna happen. We gotta get Billy Gunn on the podcast though. But we're gonna have him on one of our YouTube spots, and we'll be playing the audio from that, of course, as soon as we get it, right here on the War Report, which is live and in public, if you will, every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Go to YouTube, type "Tag Me a Date" in the search box. You can either do it "Tag Me a Date" without spaces or with spaces. Either way, you will find our channel. And you can subscribe. You can see our archive of past shows. You can see when the upcoming next show is scheduled. Usually we put that up the day of, so you can plan your day accordingly. And visit tagmeadate.com. Again, once again, the only dating site for wrestling fans. We've Googled it. We've researched it. We're the only ones. And your first 30 days are free. Sign up now. Make wrestling night your date night. And you never know. Maybe you will find your wrestling match on tagmeadate.com. Was that too cheesy?
That sounded good to me.
Excellent.
No,
We'll see you all
that
next week.
sounded good.